Louis was 22 years old. He lived in a small, quiet town, the kind of place where nothing unusual ever happened. He worked, he went to the gym, he went home, safe, predictable, ordinary. His best friend Colton had just ended a toxic relationship with a girl named Addie. Months of jealousy, control, cruelty. When Colton discovered she had been cheating, he walked away. But Addie did not let go. One evening, Louis and Colton were at the gym, just like any other night, when the door opened. A girl walked in, red hoodie. She didn't look around the way most people do. She didn't check her phone. She didn't smile. She simply stood there, staring at them. Then, slowly, she moved toward the women's locker room, but not before glancing back. Once, twice, 3 times. Something about her felt wrong. Not dangerous, not threatening, just wrong. Minutes later, sounds started drifting out of that locker room. Crying. But not the kind you feel sorry for. This was different. It was layered, mixed with whispering, like someone speaking to themselves in a language only they understood. Broken, unstable, hollow. Even through their headphones, they could hear it. They tried to ignore it. They kept working out. Eventually, she came back out. Same red hoodie, same clothes. She hadn't changed. She hadn't worked out. She just wandered, drifting through the gym, circling closer and closer, never speaking, only watching. And then she was gone. No one saw her leave. Later that night, Colton sent Louis a single message. "Do you think that was Addie?" Louis stared at the screen. His stomach dropped. They told themselves it wasn't her. It couldn't be. Just some strange girl. Just a coincidence. But at 11:30 that night, the knocking began. First, his brother's window. Louis checked. Nothing there. Then, his own window. He looked again. No one. And then, the front door. Loud. Aggressive. The kind of knocking that isn't asking to be let in. The doorknob shook violently, rattling in its frame, like something on the other side needed to get through. And then came the laughter. It wasn't normal laughter. It was hysterical, unhinged. It came in short, breathless bursts, like whoever was standing in the dark was enjoying this, like they fed on the fear leaking through those walls. Louis's chest tightened. Then his phone lit up. An unknown number. "Stay away from Colton." Another message. Accusations. Blame. Rage written in the language of someone who had come undone. And then, a photo. A knife, held in someone's hand. This was no longer just anger. Someone was standing outside his door, in the dark, armed. Louis texted his father. His father called the police. The laughter continued for a few more moments, then it stopped. Silence. The kind of silence that feels worse than the noise. When the officers arrived, they found her outside, sitting in the grass. Addie. She wasn't running. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't afraid. She sat there, calm and quiet, like she had been expecting them. She confessed to everything. Louis told Colton what happened. Colton was shaken, but relieved. And life moved on. Except for one question.
one question that Louis could never shake. How did she find his address? He had never given it to her. Colton swore he hadn't either. No one knew. No one could explain it. And that is what stayed with him. Because if she found it once, she could have found it any time. Some people don't just end. Some people wait. Sleep well.